everyone and welcome to PRICOM Design. My name is Stephanie and today I'm going to be showing you how to hook up an external trigger to your Dream Player LITE. Let's go to the workbench. We're over at the workbench and we've got all of our pieces laid out here. I've got the Dream Player LITE, micro SD card's already inserted. I've got my mini screwdriver for opening up those terminal strips on the board. I also have my push button that we're going to be hooking up today. Wires to connect the button to the Dream Player, our power supply, and a soldering iron. We're going to start by hooking up our wires to our push button. Let's go ahead and turn this guy over. I'm going to scooch him out of the way a little bit so that I have some room. Now, I already stripped these wires. You'll notice I stripped one side a little bit longer than the other side. The longer side is the side I'm going to be looping around the button, and the shorter side is the one I'm actually going to be putting into the Dream Player LITE. So just take this. There's some little holes in the button on the bottom there. That's what I'm going to be slipping these wires into. Next, we're going to go ahead and solder those connections. Go ahead and grab our Dream Player LITE. Let's take a look at the terminal strips. So you notice we have 3 different terminal strips. If you remember, we have our power input terminal strip over here. That's the one we're going to be attaching our power supply to. The one on the bottom here, that's for output, so that's going to be for controlling LEDs or different servos and motors, that kind of stuff. The one we need for our button is going to be our trigger input terminal strip up here. Now, it is marked ground and trigger, in case you have a polarity sensitive trigger. This particular button doesn't have a polarity, so it doesn't really matter. Just for the sake of clean wiring, I'm just going to go ahead and put my black wire in the ground and the red wire in the trigger. Just helps me to remember a little better. I'll go ahead and open that up. Slip the black wire into the ground. And the red wire into our trigger slot there. There we have it. We've got our button hooked up. I left a kind of a long lead on there just to give me a little bit of room to play with. Now that our button's attached, we're going to go ahead and hook up our power supply. On this particular power supply, the ground wire is the black wire, and the one with the white stripe is going to be our voltage. So go ahead and slip those 2 wires into our power terminal strip. Then we're going to apply the power. As you can see, our green LED is illuminated, meaning that there is power applied to the board. And when I first plugged it in, our red LED on the top would have flashed twice because I have 2 files on this particular SD card. We're going to need our speakers. Make sure our volume is to where we can hear it. And we're going to grab our external button. File's going to start. If I push it again, it's going to fade out. Now the cool thing about this is even though we have an external trigger hooked up, you can still use the onboard button. So if for some reason when you hook up your button for the first time it doesn't actually play, you can go ahead and use the onboard button to make sure you have the board itself hooked up correctly. And then you can limit it to whether it's an issue with the board or with your wiring of the button. And there you have it. That's how you hook up an external trigger to a Dream Player LITE. Thanks for joining me at the workbench today. Now you know how to hook up an external trigger to your Dream Player LITE. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any further questions, don't hesitate to contact us. Our email address is info@pricom.com. You can also check out our website, www.pricom.com, for more information about all of our products. Thanks again for watching.